7.8 billion people on this planet, and 65 million of them have epilepsy. Let that sink in for a moment. And I happen to be one of them. Okay. So it's not talked about. I don't know why. It is very disheartening that it's everything else gets talked about in the world, but epilepsy seems to be shoved under the rug. I don't know why. But they will put people such as Julius Caesar, call them nuts, they'll call them crazy, and they will say Pope Pius and a few others like Vincent van Gogh, who also had epilepsy. They will call them nuts and crazy too for how they were acting. Doesn't, to me, make sense why you would call these guys crazy then. I'm going to put something else in perspective for you guys too. There are over 40 different types of epilepsy. Not all of them are cured by medication or seizure, or by surgery. Okay. There's also 30 different types of auras. Auras, to put it simply for you guys, are when you know your seizure is coming. So it's like, for example, when Dr. Penfield, remember that commercial? He was doing surgery on his sister, and she said, "I smelled burnt toast." That was an aura that she got from knowing her seizure was coming. That's an example. That's what someone who has petit mal. That's what they would say if they would have, or for them, that's what they would smell if they were getting, if they knew that their seizure was coming. It's kind of, it's, to me, guys like Dr. Penfield, who led the way to get this going back in the 70s, even before then, to bring in the awareness for it. But the person now leading the charge, and is also one of my good friends, is Cassidy Megan, who has started the Purple Day awareness. She has on her page every Sunday at 9 our time, but 10 hers, a conversation with everybody who wants to who needs to be educated, that education about epilepsy has to be, needs to be taught, because in her mind too, we're not taught epilepsy first aid in our first aid classes. She wants to, her goal is to get epilepsy first aid in every first aid manual book across Canada. Across the world would be great too, but there's also stigmas across the world. One person came on in the live, you can't say you're epileptic. I find that disheartening. You are being, because of a neurological disorder that you have no control over. It's disgusting. But and then somebody else had told me very briefly that in Brazil, if you also have epilepsy written down on your employer sheet, you'll get the interview, but you won't get the job. So there's discrimination there too. That's got to stop. But there's progress going. We just got to let our friends, people know who's that we are epileptic, and that sometimes our actions that you see that are a little strange aren't because of how we so either on the medication or on the person. It's always sometimes up here or something that's going on in the head. I'm going to link a video from BC Epilepsy Society into here, into the group. I would like you guys to watch it because they've taken some of the old and they've linked it in with the new phrases. And you may have seen some of these in passing, and you may not. But it's just to give you guys an idea of what you may or may not have seen in your through your youth and to your adulthood. And one last thing, in Canada, because we're 37 million people, the ratio of epileptics is 1 in 100. So think about how many people you may have passed by that have epilepsy in your hometown, schools, and places of worship. Give that a thought.